Okay, I think we're going to start. Welcome to our talk, which we boastingly called From Wasteland to Wuthering Heights, the rocky road to great social media content. My name is Richard Hemmer. This is my boss, Judith Denkmayr. We're both going to do this talk. I'm going to do the first part, mainly, and she's going to take over then. So we're going to talk about a bit about the act of creating content for social media, or rather, how not to create content for social media. I have to admit it's a bit of a broad sweep, so we don't delve into the intricacies of content creation, but more look at the things that have been sort of pervasive on the social web, and we're going to have examples, and I'm pretty sure you're going to recognize what we are talking about. The whole theme of the talk is a bit literary, which is basically just because it's fun to make, and because literature, of course, is content, so that works quite well, to reason.
I start to interrupt,
Okay.
as bosses always do. First, it's my first time ever I do a lecture or a talk in English, so I have to apologize. Please be kind. Second thing, we are very hands-on, and so is our approach, and we would really appreciate it if you have some questions. Please just shout it out loud. We want to talk with you, not just doing a lecture and seeing you all having a little nap because it's the graveyard shift. So.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Good. So, in the beginning was the word to start epically. The word, of course, is social, and then media, of course. And when social media was sort of introduced into communication in companies. It was, I sort of compared it to a wasteland, because companies, they were used to sending like press releases, which they then put on their website, and they actually still do that. It's now just a part of their blogs, but they still like to publish their press releases. And they were also used to shouting, which looked like this. I managed to get our logo in there as well. But yes, that's basically what it looked like when companies were communicating on the web. Now, what's wrong about this approach when you look at the social web? Of course, sending out press releases, it's not engaging. You don't actually speak to a target demographic that is interested in your press releases, unless it's journalists. But they've got their own channels to get to your press releases. It's not the right channels. We've seen examples of companies publishing their press releases on Twitter without any commentary. I don't know, how many of you follow companies that do that on Twitter? Exactly, no one.
How many of you do this already? Still sending press releases on Twitter?
Who does? Who dares to admit it?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody says it.
I could just have. How many of you are actually with companies or with agencies? Agencies first, maybe. Okay. And companies. And self-employed. Okay, so we've got a couple of those.
Brown hat.
All right.
blue eye.
So they noticed that it didn't work with the press releases, and it didn't work to just shout it out. So they did what I like to call the gun with the wind phase. Basically what they realized is that they had these channels like Facebook and Twitter, and what they wanted was to create fans, find people that actually are interested in their pages, or at least pretend to be interested by clicking the like button, and sort of bolster their numbers and be able to show them to their CEO and say that, yeah, that whole Facebook thing works because we've got 20,000 fans. So what they did is they devised the iPad strategy, which basically meant that just about every company, when they started off on Facebook, they promised to give away iPads. And for many...
We call it iPad community building.
Yes. The problem with the iPad community building, of course, is that you've got loads of people that come to your site because they're interested, not in you, but in an iPad or an iPad 2. So they click the like button and hope that they'll eventually win that iPad, which they probably don't. So there's nothing that actually ties them to you anymore, so they just unlike your page again, and you're actually where you started. What's another problem regarding to that approach? It's that basically a testament to the lack of vision, to put it like this, is that obviously nobody back then had any idea on how to approach the subject of finding people that actually want to engage with the company or want to keep following their company and keep looking at the content they post, mainly because that content was either not really existing or not interesting enough. And of course, what I described earlier, those that came and wanted to win that iPad didn't win, unlike your page. They were gone with the wind. So it's not sustainable.
So just one question. We have a lot of agency people here. Who does reportings for clients, including KPIs like fan numbers? Yeah, fan numbers. Anyone? What is the value of a fan? It's a huge question, and iPad community shows that some fans are not worth a lot. So it's, I think, the main question at the moment when you look at Facebook algorithm and stuff like this. You have to pay to get fans, so you really should look that you get good fans, interested fans on your brand and not just fans. So the KPI fan is not more than some kind of a target group who may has a awareness for your brand. And you always should have this in mind when you suggest some KPIs to your clients.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next phase, which I call the very hungry caterpillar phase. Everyone is aware of the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okay. Why did I call it that? Companies realize that, doing the iPad community building isn't enough. You actually need people to stay on your Facebook page or at least interact with the stuff you post that lands in their stream, and they need to share this stuff, they need to like, they need to comment, because at the end of the day you need some numbers that you're going to show your boss. And so they devised great little ideas on how to get people to actually engage with them. And so even companies that weren't really didn't really know how to do it, they still did it, and did stuff like this. Let's talk about your bum, because of course, when I'm on Facebook, the only thing that I want to do with a company is talk about my bum. Then this is quite funny. Yeah, they did rather inane questions. Which seasoning do you always reach for first? Salt or pepper? And I mean, they actually get 126 comments for that, which is impressive for a post. And it worked at the moment for them. So what else did they do? Yeah, Friday fun. What is the missing animal? Answer announced at 5 p.m. This is exceptionally hard, and this is probably what they had in mind. They wanted to challenge their fans, obviously. And you can see the caterpillar gets bigger and bigger because it feeds on these kinds of posts. But it goes on. Quite apt, really. Here, the apple and the pear. Yeah, they ask anything just to get a reaction from people, and luckily there are still some people who are bored out of their minds when they are on Facebook, so they answer stuff like this. And here's the final example here, and you can see the caterpillar is really huge already. And you're expecting the caterpillar to actually, blossom into this beautiful butterfly, because that's what they do when they eat enough. But really, what it does is it dies. Well, why does it die? It dies because it's been, feeding on this really unhealthy snack food instead of really, nutritious vitamins, and so it dies and doesn't turn into the butterfly. So what is the general problem with that? With the hungry caterpillar approach? It's basically that it's not authentic, which is sort of something that sort of goes through all these approaches, that there's nothing authentic about it. You can actually envision the person sitting in front of the computer, in front of their conversation calendar, and thinking up this stuff and thinking, yeah, we need for tomorrow an engaging question. Let's ask them about salt and pepper, of course. So it's not authentic. It's kind of lazy. And it's not sustainable, because you've got people that comment on salt and pepper, but it doesn't actually work to connect them to the brand or to the company. I have to admit, though, of course, because we're an agency, and I'm pretending that we didn't do that stuff. Of course, we did similar things, not as inane as the salt and pepper stuff, but the general engaging question. I'm sure those of you who work for an agency and who were tasked with creating content for companies where it's really hard to find something, did this. I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm pretty sure most of you did it. So companies devised another strategy, or let's say agencies devised another strategy, and I call that the much ado about nothing strategy. That's why good old William is here. The much ado about nothing strategy means that they found something that is like a special day, an anniversary, and they create content around it, which really doesn't even have to be connected to their company. It's just something they can put into their conversation calendar, and maybe even schedule. Don't even have to think about it anymore, and post it. I've got an example of, in German though, of 3 companies that posted this on International Coffee Day. And which is really quite telling. There's PayPal, Payback, and Holiday Check, and they engage their community by talking about coffee. And I mean, I have to admit, coffee is something, everyone drinks coffee, so they're like, yeah, everyone drinks coffee, so let's just, pounce on that and ask them about it. And
there's a beautiful name, Vanilla News, for this kind of postings, and maybe you want to explain why they are called Vanilla News.
Let's ask the audience. Does anyone know why the Vanilla News are called that? Anyone? Yeah, plain.
The vanilla dessert.
Everyone likes it. It's really quite agree. I mean, there's not many people that don't like vanilla, and it's sort of like the stuff you post when you don't, want to cause a ruckus or anything, or you just, you post that, and it's easy news. It's easily digestible, and it sort of glosses over the Facebook stream, and then it looks like this. So that's basically the result of companies knowing that the vanilla approach most of the time kind of works.
And because we are always looking at the fan numbers and the like numbers, we post the stuff because it's so easy. It always works. You put some picture of a cup of coffee and you have more likes than all your well done and researched content. Or is it just us? Any experience in this way? Okay, so that's the problem. I think it's not bad to do this, but you should not do this too often. It's really not corporate communication, and sometimes there are a lot of sites who have experience with doing great content but having less interaction, and then they start doing cats and coffee. I think that's the content strategy for the most sites, which work the best.
Yeah, I mean, it works for the engagement numbers. I mean,
And
Doesn't
that's
anything
a great deal when you have engagement numbers in your KPI sheet and your reporting sheet. So you just post about 30 cats and coffee pictures a month, have the best engagement rates, KPIs are great. And that's the problem when your CEO always looks on the engagement rate and the KPIs, but never at the Facebook page. And we had some workshops where the CEOs or marketing executives were really surprised when we showed them their Facebook content, because they couldn't believe. They always just see the KPIs. So, it's your choice.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's not advisable. Yeah, so we've talked about the problems behind this approach. First one, of course, is that everyone does it. International Coffee Day. If you've planned on writing anything about it on your Facebook fan page, don't do it, because everyone does it. It's not really relevant. I mean, unless you're, I don't know, a coffee maker or something that has anything to do with coffee, then of course you can do it. But then probably you do it all year long, so it's not anything special anymore. And in the end, nobody really cares. I mean, these, I don't know, I've got a coffee machine at home. I don't need 20 pictures on my Facebook account to look at on International Coffee Day. All right, so we've gone through these examples of, you know, kind of not ideal content, and it's I try to, you know, picture this as sort of a road that we traveled along, but it's more like sort of, you know, a short road with loads of obstacles, and at some point you actually reach the top of or the end of the road on the top of the mountain, and I call that the Wuthering Heights because it's, you know, high up there, but it's still kind of stormy. More about that later. So we're sort of at the height of content creation for some companies, not all companies, but some companies. They sort of realized what it is their audience wants. They realized what their brand stands for, and they realized what they can do with channels like Facebook. And I know it's kind of cheating to use Skittles, but Skittles really do this quite well. You might look at this and think, yeah, that's kind of inane, and it's I mean, it's not interesting, but it's actually perfect for their target demographic and for what they want to convey. Because in the United States, where their main demographic lives, everyone knows Skittles, so they don't actually have to write anything about the product anymore. They don't have to inform them about, you know, another color in Skittles. But they can do this stuff, and they can sort of have fun, and the numbers actually show that this works perfectly well. Craft is something on YouTube where they've got the craft cooking school. Again, I mean, it's all about food. They're not, you know, just selling their products, but they're actually creating videos that people can share, that people that actually have added value for the consumers, because they've got recipes, and of course it's craft products that are being used, but still it's a recipe when they're, I don't know, wanting to make verde chicken enchilada.
And people actually viewing this stuff. So for a YouTube strategy, this works really well. I don't know if someone of you has a YouTube strategy, but most of our clients are very happy when they have about 200 or 300 views. Okay, it's Austria. It's a very small market. Most of the videos are in German, in Austrian German, which maybe makes the market a little bit smaller too. But this works quite well, and they really have some. They have a strategy behind this, and not just a YouTube channel, which is a container for every video content we have. So you see, there's a huge difference.
Yes. Pardon? Craft is sort of the international food, you know, food. Yes, and Oreo. I mean, there's a bit of a pattern here because, you know, it's all about food. Maybe that's my preference, or the general public's preference when it comes to, you know, rewarding companies that are doing it well.
But doing presentations at lunchtime.
Probably. Yeah, there's going to be more food pictures coming. So Oreos. Does anyone actually eat Oreos? I mean, they've sort of made the way to Europe only, I don't know, a couple of years back, and they were sort of huge in the US always. I personally don't understand it because I don't know, I think they're weird, but they do this really quite well, and they've got a pretty good social media department because they're quick. They've done news checking where they sort of intercepted current events. Are you trying to say something? No? Okay, sorry. You could, if you wanted to. Okay, so, and they do these, and they're just really fun, and they're clever, and they've got someone that, you know, just, if someone comes up with an idea and they've got someone who draws that, I mean, it's not...
Yeah, as Skittles and Oreo, they have something in common. They just have one product, one thing. Okay, Oreo, there are a lot of different Oreo kinds. They even have muffin Oreos, Oreo muffins or stuff. But they just have these little cookies. And Skittle just have this, is it jelly beans? I don't know. There is nothing
similar,
more.
yeah.
So when you have just one product and you have to talk every day, it's really difficult. So these guys are really, really creative when it comes to content, because they just have this one little black and white cookie. So
Black
watch
and white
them.
and
They
black.
really have.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do to get these ideas.
Yeah, but they're good and they're working.
I think they don't sit the whole day in front of the computer and filling out stuff in Excel sheets. That's not the kind of doing a content plan for them.
No.
Pardon? Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
The sugar high.
Okay, so we've got great content from a few select companies, or even more and more companies that sort of learned from their mistakes. But I've got one example where I can sort of show how even if you've got great content that's fun for the one market, it's probably not fun for the other market.
And you can point your finger at us because it was our mistake.
It was a mistake, yes. You're all aware of the Eurovision Song Contest, right? You heard about the Austrian woman Conchita who won. So someone created a sort of photoshopped an image of Sissi, the Austrian empress, long dead, but still, you know, in the hearts and minds of everyone in Austria, and apparently abroad as well, because I think a few days before the actual Eurovision Song Contest, Süddeutsche Zeitung posted this picture and got a huge response. I mean, there are like 8,606 shares, 12,000 likes. I mean, even for a German Facebook page, that is quite huge. So after she won, the Facebook page of Schloss Schönbrunn, which is the imperial palace in Vienna, or sort of summer residence,
And our client.
They reposted this from somewhere else where it was posted, and they found it funny, and we found it funny as well. And then we had to realize that it's actually two very different demographics that look at these Facebook pages, because here everyone was sort of loved it, and those who didn't, they were sort of pushed to the bottom apparently. And here suddenly people started going crazy because they felt insulted, or they felt that the empress was being insulted by having a beard drawn on her face. And it was mostly not even Austrians that complained, but people from all over the place, tourists who were actually livid, and they were saying that it's they should take this down, and they won't come back to Austria because Sissi's being disrespected, and there's men with beards.
And we don't have real women in Austria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No real women. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is actually a pretty good example of how you can actually have great content for one page and then realize that, and I mean, it's not even that big of a rift. I mean, that's Germany and Austria. So you should actually expect it to be, have somewhat similar reactions. But this was just more of a touristy kind of audience, and there it was, people that actually, know what humor is.
Süddeutsche Zeitung is more left-wing, more liberal newspaper, and tourists are more interested in the classical Vienna. You know, everything is fine, sissies on the streets, horses, Sachertorte, and it was really. We thought it would fit, but definitely it didn't. And we had about 400 comments, and I think a third or maybe the half was very negative, and it was about, oh, everything is disgusting, and you disgust me, and it was really harsh.
It was harsh, yes. Okay.
So that's the reason why we can't give you absolute clear suggestions. This is the right content for you, because as you see, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You have to find out, and how and which questions you have to ask yourself. We have now. Yeah. A few, not that many. We also had some good comments. We also had shares. I think it were about 20 or 25 dislikes, really leaving the page. But I think the people were more interested in speaking out, not in leaving.
Yeah,
so
like expressing their disgust.
Expressing their disgust. And
over this woman with a beard.
We were very happy because the client decided not to take the posting down or to which would never be an option, but they were really cool and said, okay, but we think it was a good posting and we really liked it. So they can do this very often. They can't do this very often, but at this moment, I think we were some kind of proud because they just did another posting with some flowers or candies. I don't know, some vanilla posting upon the Sissi posting, and then everything was fine, and the world was
right again.
So. So you have to find your sweet spot for social media content, and this is definitely a road from Wasteland to Wuthering Heights. First, you have to do some kind of analysis and finding out some things about maybe you and your competitors. So when you think you don't have competitors, don't think just in who is in the same business than I am. Maybe there are other people having the same content idea or content strategy. So it's not enough just to say, oh, this is my business competitor, and I take a look at him at Facebook, and maybe he has more friends, so I also want more friends. Maybe someone really has the same content strategy, has the same ideas. Craft Food make this video cooking show. I think Jamie Oliver does the same now. Maybe this is some kind of a different audience group, but maybe you also have to take a look at what Jamie Oliver and his people do. Yeah, this is a tool called Social Analytics. Just a suggestion, you can take a look what works best at your competitors' Facebook sites, Twitter sites, and so on. You also have your Facebook Insights, and they have some good information about the time your fans or your community is online, and also a lot of information about which kind of postings, is it video, links, pictures, work the best. Okay, your team. That's also very, very, I don't know how it is in Germany or in other countries. In Austria, you usually have one person in the social media team, which maybe also have to do some traditional marketing stuff and online marketing. So we're still fighting for some social media manager, and now at this time we also want to have them more resources for social media and for content. So it's very hard to get these resources, but when you have them, you have to decide which person has to do what kind of the work. Most important thing, everyone has to have a responsibility. I was a journalist, and in journalism, people always said, everyone's an editor, so everyone has to do social media. Never worked, nowhere. it just doesn't work when nobody has to do it and everyone has to do it on top. So you have to have someone who says, you have to do this today, and I take a look at it. That sounds strict, and social media should be fun and grassroots and tralala, but it doesn't work when you do it this way. So you need someone who has the hat on his head. I'm the editor, I'm the chief editor. You need someone who's creative. That's very important. We saw the Oreo cakes. You don't do this when you have 20 meetings a week. You don't have the chance to do some creative stuff. And not everyone has the ability to do this. Then you need someone who really does the content, who writes the post, who does the design, who maybe does an ebook, who maybe does the research, who maybe is able to do a video. Yeah. We talked a lot about Facebook. We are not sure if Facebook is the right choice in the next years. Facebook is some kind of online marketing platform where you have to pay twice. You first pay to get fans, and then you have to pay to reach your fans. Is everyone aware of this? Yes, that's fine. Hi, Facebook. Is this the Facebook guy? Yes. Okay, they really like it when you say such things. Sometimes they call you. So, your platforms, you should choose your platforms when you know where's the audience. In Austria, people come to us and say, oh, it would be great to have something at Facebook, and then you ask them why, and they tell you, yeah, because our competitor also has now a Facebook site, or our CEO read about it in the newspaper. That's not a good reason. So first look which target audiences do we have, and then which platforms do we choose. Content types. Anyone from B2B marketing in here? No? Yeah, B2B has very different content types. Facebook has postings, has infographics, has pictures. In B2B marketing, ebooks, and maybe you have other white papers working quite well. The frequency is a huge topic. When we started with Facebook and Twitter, at Facebook, I think at one time we had about 3 postings a day. And when you look at media sites, Zeit.de, Süddeutsche, but also BuzzFeed or other kind of media, they have about 12 postings a day. So most of our clients now have 1 good posting a day. Some of them 7 times a week, some of them 5 times a week. But when you just want to have an impact on the Facebook algorithm, maybe you should have 12 times a day. So there's no answer to say the typical good frequency for Facebook postings are 1 posting every 1.2 days. There are a lot of studies, case studies with this output, but just look in your insights and try. Yeah, find the content that adds value is the most important thing. You really have, you need an USP, a unique selling proposition, because you should not do the same thing another company does. And so that's why you have competitors in your own business and also on the content level. Is it information? Do you have some really exclusive information? Is there something? Or is it just your brand? Is it the same product every day? When you take a look at Instagram of Veuve Clicquot, they just have champagne bottles every day. But people like champagne bottles, and it's their product. So they post champagne bottles every day, and I think it's not the worst content strategy. When you are a B2B marketer, you will have completely different kind of value. Servicing, also a huge topic. Anyone from the customer care side? No. At the time, servicing was a very, very huge approach. A lot of companies had servicing sites at Facebook. But
By
the
the way,
only reason to follow... Yeah.
we've got 5 minutes now.
Okay.
Or 4 now.
That's great. Okay, I stopped the servicing, there is no one. So, and that's what you always have to remember. Everything you do, the cats are still at the
Still
web,
out there.
even if they are vanilla, you always have to compete with them. So, you have to keep your people interested because otherwise they switch to cats. Finally, don't waste your time, and don't waste your time from your customers. So take the time, make good content, even if it means a lot of work, and don't do cheesy, boring content. That's the worst. It's really a waste of time. So finally, our message, don't be boring. And that's it. Thank you. Hint, hint, hint. If you're interested in more, we have the Smart Content Day at October the 23rd in the Orangerie Schönbrunn, which has nothing to do that Schönbrunn is our client, but it's really a great location. And yeah, we have the first early bird tickets. We have 2 keynote speakers, so maybe you want to make a trip to Vienna, and maybe we see you there.